Hello, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. The Flames have won 10 in a row in history. It is all around us here with this Calgary Flames team.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Locked On Flames. I'm your host, Jess of the Metropolitan Riveters Public Relations team, as well as a plethora of blogs covering the NHL for the last 5 or 6 years. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline AG. BetOnline, where the game starts. How are you today? Thanks for making Locked On Flames your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, and we are also free 99 on YouTube, so make sure to check us out. 10 in a row for the Calgary Flames. My God, even my cat is singing. He is so happy. It was a 3-1 win over the Winnipeg Jets with goals from Lindholm, Sean Monahan, who found himself back on the score sheet, and top shelf teapot Toffoli, Tyler Toffoli. And, it was a good game. It was really nice to see this team come out and play the way that they did and kind of continue to elevate themselves through the whole season, through the second half of the season, which, the playoffs will be here before we know it, and that is terrifying to think about. But Tyler Toffoli did replace Sean Monahan on Power Play 1 today, and I'm starting to think that he might start edging out Sean Monahan more and more as time continues and time goes on. Tyler Toffoli is a fantastic special teams player. Laura from Locked On Canadians came on and told us that he can do anything you want him to do. He will play anywhere on any line just to do just about anything. And I think that, the Flames have a great special teams unit, but they also could always improve. And especially as you head into the playoffs and go through the playoffs, you want your team to be the best possible version of themselves. And, I think it was JJ from the Barn Burner who said the downfall of Sean Monahan is here. And we'll just have to keep an eye on things there. And the last time the Flames won 10 in a row was from February 21st to March 13th back in 2017. And then before that, you're not going to believe this, it was October 14th to November 3rd in 1978. Yes, that was a year that started with 19. So that goes to show you how long ago it was. And speaking of historic marks, Lindholm's goal tonight extended his career best scoring streak to 8 games, tying him for the longest run in team history with Gary Roberts and Kent Nilsson. So this, I can't even get out how happy I am for this team, because we have seen this team go up and down, coach change after coach change, revolving doors of lines, no consistency, and then to finally see them on this road to success under one coach, where there hasn't even been Darryl Sutter is going to get fired moment this season. There has not been a glimpse of that. Sure, they had their moments where, they lost those 3 games in a row back in the start of the year against Florida, Tampa, and Carolina, which that put a stain on the season at that moment in time. It was a true test going up against some of the best teams in the league, and the Flames failed, but the thing is that they've gotten better since then. So it's just a true testament to how seriously Darryl Sutter, Brad Treliving, and ownership, how strong they want this team to be. And it's fairly obvious they want it to be strong. You don't go out and buy at the deadline unless you're all in on this playoff run. And I just am so excited for the playoffs. And I think Calgary should be excited. I think all Flames fans should be excited. Sarah, I know you're listening, and I know that you're excited. My one Vermont listener, so happy to have you. But, I think it's just such an exciting time for these Flames. 10 wins in a row. Again, that doesn't happen very often. It dates back to 2017 when I don't even think I'm pretty sure that was the year the Flames came out of the West. Or no, they didn't come out of the West, but they were Western Conference. They were at the top of the Western Conference when the regular season ended, I believe. So it's just very rare to see this kind of success, and for this team to be there after this quick 18-month turnaround, not even barely a year turnaround, is huge. And it just speaks volumes as to what happens when you get the right person in the right spot. It's that easy, and it's great to see all of these players hitting milestones and starting new things and building back what they had, quote unquote, taken away from them when things weren't going well in Calgary. And to see Elias Lindholm play at this level as your first line center is so exciting. He's the first star of the week from the NHL first star of the week. And to have that kind of player on your team is phenomenal. The lines, when I checked Money Puck, they are around, I think, the 8th in the league at, I think it was 120 minutes per, at least 120 minutes played. But, they are still such a strong line. That Mangiapane, Coleman, and Backlund line is ranked first at 160 minutes, which that's better than the McKinnon line, than the Patrice Bergeron line, than the Sidney Crosby line. This team has established themselves and really have given themselves an identity and are taking back what they didn't have last year or the year before. They're truly something, and it's great to see. Speaking of history and milestones, we will be talking about that next and some more exciting news here on Locked On Flames. But first, let's talk about Built Bar. Built Bar is a delicious tasting protein bar that you need to get you through the day and through the end of the regular season. Built Bar has delicious tasting protein bars. They have the marshmallow puffs that they have, delicious. And I think the best part about it is that you don't feel like you're eating something healthy. It feels like junk food, tastes like junk food, but you're fueling your body with holy goodness and just delicious protein. The bars are covered in 100% chocolate. Calories are low, sugars are low, carbs are low, high in protein, high in fiber, a wide wide range of flavor selections, and you can get them now at built.com with promo code LOCKED15. Locked On Flames continues. Make sure you are following me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. History and milestones they're all around the Calgary Flames, and I think these are some of my favorite things to talk about in terms of hockey players and just different a different aspect of the game, because it's not just all about wins and losses and whatnot. It is more, it's about the small celebration along the way. And I think it's so important to have those little celebrations along the way, because you don't really get to pick and choose when you get to celebrate the wins. And or the victories and whatnot. But, we are rapidly approaching the 1 year of Darryl Sutter as head coach. Rapidly. I'm talking March 5th. And in that time, he has taken this team from the bottom of the barrel to this team that can produce goals, and this team that can win games. They can win 10 in a row. They're looking for 11 on Thursday against Vancouver. They have something so special within them that will boost them to that level. And Johnny Gaudreau right now is 10 goals away from 200 career goals. For a guy who struggled last season offensively, rightfully so, because he was carrying around Sean Monahan with a broken hip for like the entire season, to be that much closer to a milestone than he was a year ago is huge. Even, 8 months ago, it's humongous. Michael Backlund, who has gone on stretches where you even forget that he's out on the ice, is just 7 goals away from 800. That is a huge number. And you see the strength in these players. You see how happy they are in their post-game media availability compared to last year, where they looked miserable and like they wanted to be anywhere else. This team is happy to talk about the game they're playing, the game that they had just played before sitting down to talk to the media. They look engaged. They look happy. And, happy wife, happy life, but I'm going to change that saying to mean happy hockey husband equals, or, happy hockey husband equals happy hockey games or something like that, because this team is so happy. They are so excited. Like, the energy is there. This team last year, if you are an OG listener, you know how many times I compared this team to a beer league team, a non-competitive team. I was so disappointed in how they looked out on the ice. And now it's like it's not even the same team. You would have thought they assembled an entirely new team based on their performance and how well this team looks and how good they look out there. Even Markstrom, like, no shade to him, obviously, from last year, because last year he was basically carrying this team on his back. And he looks better this year. He looks, not that he ever looked disengaged or uninterested, but he is just having himself a year where Money Puck has him at 12.6 goals above expected, saved above expectation. You know what I'm saying. And that's huge. He's not a Vezina qualifier nominee. He's not playing at that level. But to me, to go from Cam Talbot and David Riddick to Jacob Markstrom, like that, there has to be an award. I mean, not really, because it's just your general manager doing their job by getting you better players when in need. But my God, it's like night and day with this team. And I don't know. I think that Darryl Sutter has established and defined this team and come in to give this team what they've always needed, just a facelift to get them to where they needed to be competitively. And again, like the history, like the writing is right there. The writing is on the wall. Darryl Sutter comes in and he turns this team around. He gets this team 10 wins in a row. And he's coaching to the ability of the players and making the most of what is available for him. And that's something that Jeff Ward just couldn't do. And I do plan on having like a Jeff Ward, sounds really bad, Jeff Ward versus Darryl Sutter tenure, battle, a little comparison, a little Venn diagram, but episode. But it blows my mind to think back to how the Flames were playing last year versus the team that we see out there now. It is just astonishing. I don't think there are enough adjectives I could possibly use to describe how exciting this is. And for the Flames to go on, 10 in a row for the first time in 5 years is ginormous. Ginormous. And that shows you right there that the talent was there 5 years ago. And the roster, I don't think the roster has changed too dramatically since then. But what's different? You have a coach who cares about the players, who cares about winning, and will utilize them to their best ability. Darryl Sutter is not paying me to speak highly of him. But if he would like to, my Venmo is low quality Jess. Thank you so much. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But I am just always proud of this team. And it makes me feel warm inside. As somebody, I still consider myself a quote unquote outsider in the Flames fandom, because I did just kind of drop myself in here 2 years ago and say, hey, I'm covering your team every day now, whether you like it or not. And it's nice to see y'all happy and smiling. And you know what is going to keep you smiling? The 3 Flames to watch this week. And we are going to talk about that next. But first, BetOnline AG. BetOnline has you covered for your online sports betting needs. And they, from the NBA down to the Olympic coverage, to podcasts, news, you name it, BetOnline.net has you covered with all the live updates, props, and odds for whatever you're looking for. And my favorite is that they have reality TV stuff. So when the next season of 90 Day Fiancé starts, I'm going to check out the player performances and see what I can get done there. But head on over to betonline.net today and take a look around their fresh website. Thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Flames once again. And of course, make sure that you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything besides hit a button, leave a 5-star review and a rating and a review if you're so inclined. Helps a lot, means a lot. I was doing some digging this week and saw that we are on the outskirts of being in the top 100 hockey podcasts in Canada. We are blazing the charts in Australia, Germany, and Great Britain. So I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening. I never thought I would have an international audience for my blog or a podcast, really. I would say international to me because y'all are in Canada. But to see Australia was quite interesting because Australia is a cool place. But you know what else is cool? The Flames. Sounds like an oxymoron. But no, I have 3 Flames that y'all need to watch this week as we have a little bit of a break between now and Thursday when the Flames play. But, they play again. They hit the road. They go to Vancouver on Thursday, and then they head back home and they play the Wild. So with Vancouver being first up, I'm going to say Tyler Toffoli. He has a few games under his belt now. He scored today. He looks great on the first power play unit. He looks like he's settling in. And we all know that Tyler Toffoli eats Vancouver alive whenever he plays against them. So this is something I'm looking forward to watching. I think that It's always fun to watch players return to their former teams, but especially when they always play well against their former team. I think that's my favorite. It's like, because Vancouver let Tyler Toffoli walk for nothing, you know? And that's just the Canucks, man. They write their own stories. It's so bad over there. But I'm really looking forward to that on Thursday. And NHL First Star of the Week, Elias Lindholm, is always a pleasure to watch. And he is my number 2 Flame to watch of the week. And I think it's so great to see him get the recognition he deserves, and at a league level, because we yell all the time about how lucky the Flames are to have him at this pay. He makes chump change compared to what one Cs are making in the year 2022, and at the rate of play, he the level of competitiveness and whatnot. But he is always a pleasure to watch when he's on the ice, a pleasure to watch when he's making an appearance in his girlfriend's Instagram story with their 2 dogs, and just a pleasure to watch when he's doing media availability. I think that he's very, very fun, very nice, and he's so talented that why wouldn't you want to watch him play hockey? And there was some discourse surrounding my third Flame to watch today, because apparently if you praise Chris Tanev, you have to consider, or sorry, I shouldn't say when you praise Chris Tanev. When you praise the Chris Tanev contract and the signing, you're not a good person. Apparently you're the worst person since the Salem witch trials or something. Like, you are just an awful human being, because the Flames took a risk on a 30-something-year-old defenseman who has a long injury history and was seen as a leader on the team. And oh my God, he's just the worst person. And he has absolutely elevated this blue line and taken it to new heights, which I think needs to be addressed. I think it's so important for us to recognize what the addition of Chris Tanev has done for the Flames and for that young decor, what it's done. And he's always a good player to watch, especially when he scored his that goal last season, like by accident off the face-off, or from the blue line rather. And it was just really funny. And I think that he's one of those players that you can always watch, but he's fun to watch when you're observing him with like a critical lens. Not because, critical as in like negative or anything like that, but because you're watching it differently from like a fan lens. Because when I'm watching, Charlie McAvoy with my fan lens on, he can't do anything wrong. But when I watch him with my critical like reporter hat on, it's a very different player out there. So I highly recommend doing that for really any of your favorite players, but especially Chris Tanev, because he has fallen under fire today for some reason. I don't understand why. He didn't do anything wrong, but I truly think that Chris Tanev, Elias Lindholm, and Tyler Toffoli are your Flames to watch this week. And I keep saying, oh, we're like not going to talk about the Flames first line, being on any sort of like watch list, because they're so good. And then Elias Lindholm goes and sets history for himself, for the team, gets named the first NHL star, first star of the week by the NHL. The wording is always a little difficult, but you can't ask for too much, or you can never ask for too much from these guys. I think that they all know what they bring to the table, and they'll bring it at the 150% that they always bring it at. So, Flames to watch this week. We got Thursday, the 7-game home stand is ended, take a one game trip out to Vancouver, head back home to play the Wild, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Will they make it 11? Will they make it 12? Will they get to lucky 13? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Locked On Flames. I'm Jess Belmosto. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you for listening to Locked On Flames. Thank you for sharing Locked On Flames. Thank you for making Locked On Flames your first listen of the day. I'm so excited to have this out to you, and I will have another episode out tomorrow on Tuesday so we can talk more and we can gush plenty more about the Calgary Flames and just how exciting of a team they are to watch. Bye-bye.